All right, welcome to lesson one, connectedness, how to cultivate a connected perspective. This is so very powerful and it is absolutely foundational for approaching your goals in a life balance way. All right. And so when I talk about the life balance approach to reaching your goals and changing your life, at the very foundation, at the very core of this is this lesson right here, is this idea, this principle, the principle of connectedness. When I talk about connectedness, I'm talking about the connection between the four areas of your life. I call them the four key areas of life. And there are these four areas are made up of four very simple areas, easy to overlook. However, once you know them, they're pretty easy to remember. Area number one is your personal life, right? And so when I talk about your personal life, I'm talking about anything that has to do with you on an individual level. So spiritual growth, self-care, emotional health, physical health, intellectual development, things like that. In these areas, you may interact with different people on, tangentially as you navigate some of these things like self-care, emotional health, but these are solely your responsibility. No one else is going to make it a priority to help you be healthy in these areas, unless, of course, you're a minor, in which case your parents may make it a priority. But chances are, if you're watching this, you're probably not a minor. And so no one else is going to make this a priority. These things a priority, they have to be a priority on your docket, on your list, on your planner. All right. So that's area number one. Area number two is your family life. This is any responsibility you have within your familial world. So as a parent, as a child, as a sibling, a relative in general, an uncle, aunt, maybe any task or responsibility you have as far as family is concerned, that has to do with your family life. The third area is your social life. And of course, this includes your friends, but it also includes your mentors, any hobby groups you have, any volunteer work you're involved with. That's where those things, this area of life is where those things would really be connected to. And the final area is your career life, right? So your career life includes any task or responsibility you have within your career, anything you do to make a living, or your academic career, right? If you happen to be a student. And for some, you may be both. You may be working as well as a student, and it has to do with both. So this is the area of life where these things will be falling into. Now, there are different things that you can look to find different areas of life. There are like the wheel of life, for example, is one that a lot of life coaches use. And it has, I believe, something like 8 or 9 different areas of life. I found that a little cumbersome and hard to remember all of those areas. And the reality is, everything we do in life, all the different things that make up our life, can fall within one of these four areas of life: personal, family, social, or career life. And so when you think about your life and everything you do, all the relationships you have, all the responsibilities you have, all the goals you have for your life, these four areas make up the totality of your life. And within each season of life, the time, focus, and energy you give to each of these four areas will be different, right? So for a college student, of course, their academic career life and maybe their social life would probably be the two biggest areas, whereas their family life and personal life may be minuscule compared to the other two, just because of the focus that they have. Now, the what you want when you're navigating this, and when we get to module 3, we'll dive a little bit more into this wheel, but as you navigate this, what you want is for it to be proportionate to your season of life, but also healthy, right? So just because you're a college student and your career life or academic career life and social life take up the majority of your life, does not mean it's okay to have zero personal life or zero family life. It is unhealthy for any of these areas to be at zero at almost any point in our life. So we want to make sure we're healthy, right? The goal is not that you give equal distribution of time and energy to all four areas of this life. That is not life balance. In most cases, that's actually rather unhealthy to try to do that. Again, you want to make it proportionate to your season of life. All right. So very excited about that. Let's talk about how to build connectedness, how to build a connected perspective. Okay. With the four areas of life, and everything I'm about to dive into will be in your workbook, but just to give you some more context as you navigate it. And I do encourage you to work ahead in the workbook. So as you go through this course, it'll be, if anything, clarifying for you. And you can go back and work through things that maybe you misunderstood, or maybe you want to dive a little bit deeper into. Okay. So first, you want to list the most significant responsibilities for each area of life. The six most significant responsibilities for each area of life. And this is vital because how often do you feel tired or drained, but you're not sure why? You know you're busy, you know there's a lot to do, but it's just kind of a running list. The list never ends. You never quite see the bottom of it. You're not sure why. There's always a list. There's always something to do, and you're always tired, but you just know you are. Sometimes there are things asking for our time and our energy that we are completely unaware of. We never saw it in that light before, but it exists. It's there, and it's sucking our energy like a vampire. And so it can be very helpful to just take a moment and sit. Maybe you want to go to Starbucks and work through these exercises. It'll take you maybe half hour to 40 minutes or so, and write down your six most significant responsibilities for each area of life. And then just look at it and see what's on that list that maybe caught you off guard. What's on that list that you didn't realize was a significant responsibility, or something that pulls so much from you, but it really is, and it's sitting there. Right now, these are things that you may be aware of. And as you work through the list and you really think through it, there may be things you're unaware of. That's all right. List them all down. Number two is, or the second step, so to speak, is you want to identify the three most significant people for each area of your life. So in your personal life, who are the three most significant people in your personal life as it relates to the things that are associated, or responsibilities that are associated to your personal life, like self-care, emotional health, things like that. So for example, for me, I would say my therapist is one of the three most significant people in my personal life, right? So for you, you want to work through that in your family life. Three most significant relationships or people in your family life. Of course, there are plenty of people, especially if you have a big family. I'm not saying that you love anyone less or more, but the three most significant responsibilities, significant people in each area of life. And then you want to do this for each area of life. So your social life and your career life as well. Who are the people who have the biggest impact, who ask the most of you in each area of your life? Next, if you haven't already created goals, or really set goals for yourself in each area of life, I want you to dream big, and I want you to dream long, right? So think long term with these goals, and write down 4 goals for each area of life. The goal is not that you will be aiming to hit all 16 of these goals at the same time. However, to give you an idea of what's on your heart, where you're aiming to go, the kind of life you need to set yourself up for, the kind of balance you need in your life in order to reach the goals that you have. This is very important. So dream big and do that. If you already have goals, then write them in the area of life that they belong to, and create other ones if you have the space to include other ones. Okay. Power goals, for example, are goals that, one goal that would have the ability to have a positive impact on multiple areas of life. So for example, getting healthy has an impact on basically every area of life. It has a significant impact in your personal life because, of course, that is your body, it's yourself. And then it has a significant impact in your family life. And this is huge, right? A lot of times we think that our goals begin and end with us, but they only begin with us. They don't end with us. Living healthier can have a significantly positive impact on your responsibilities and relationships. It has an impact on your social life, the kind of things that you get into, that you do with your friends, the kind of hobbies you have. Getting healthy has an impact on those things, and it has an impact on your career life, your focus, your energy, how much you're able to get done at work, the kind of work you're able to do. Again, so these kind of goals, they can have impact across the board. And so think about power goals that you could set for yourself. And then finally, take a moment, like I said, whether you want to go to Starbucks or some place where you can sit quietly, maybe apart, and just look over this information. Look at the six most significant responsibilities you have for each area of life. Look over the three most significant relationships or people for each area of your life, and look at the goals you have for yourself, the goals you set. What does that say about you? How do you feel about that? Do you like what's reflected? Do you want to change anything that's reflected? Did anything catch you off guard? Is there a theme in what you're seeing about yourself as you look at this? Sometimes it can be so very enlightening to sit and reflect on this information. This alone can be motivating enough to set better goals for yourself, or just to aim to change your life overall in general. All right. So this is the end of lesson one. And I really do hope that you take the time to work through these exercises and don't rush through it. Give yourself time to really dive into it and process this information, reflect on this information, because you will need this as we go into lesson number two, which is on the topic of focus and how to narrow your focus so that you can build momentum towards the goals that matter most. See you in lesson two.